Some superheroes bring out the best in each other and help each other work towards achieving their goals, but sometimes heroes team up to work toward a common goal and bring out the worst in each other, making one another more violent or more egotistical, or even accidentally or on purpose sabotaging one another and risking achieving their goal. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we are going to be discussing just such issues when it comes to superhero team-ups. Ones that are scary and ones that could have almost ruined everything. And when I say everything, I really mean everything. We're talking about heroes who have the potential to ruin one another, their comic book series, and just ruin their ability to be a superhero or get a task done. What disastrous team-ups do you love the most? Feel free to reflect as you watch and let us know in the comments below. One of my favorites, while they may not be superheroes per se, is Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn. I just love them together, whether they are getting one another into trouble or getting into trouble together. Alright, let's forget about those two villainesses for a while and talk superhero team-ups as we get counting. Number 10. Deadpool, Wolverine, and Captain America. The Marvel storyline The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is a part of one of the Deadpool series, sees the three powerhouses team up. The series mainly follows Deadpool, who approaches the fellow heroes looking to team up as he thinks someone is targeting Weapons Plus alumni. The other two heroes refuse to join him, which leads to him being captured by a villain who goes by the name Butler. He escapes to discover a group of alternate X-Men made from Deadpool's organs and other regenerated X-Men bits, and sort of Deadpool's regeneration ability, like holding them together. With the help of them and Captain America and Wolverine, who Wade also finds out were kidnapped by the Butler as well, he defeats the villain. Unfortunately, his daughter and her mother Carmelita were also kidnapped by the Butler and perished before Deadpool and the rest of the team could save them. This time they actually ruined everything as a team in Deadpool's instance. He lost his family as a result of the fact that Cap and Wolverine just didn't join him soon enough. Number 9. Wolverine and Spider-Man. Yeah, there are certain superheroes who just kinda make bad teammates, and Wolverine is kind of one of those superheroes. Spider-Man isn't usually, but there are certain people he just really doesn't get along with well. Of course, their differences have also made them a strong team, as these two do tend to team up quite a bit in the comics. But I'm specifically talking about a time when they swapped bodies. One, this team up is also just awful in regards to the storyline. It happens in Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 when Jean Grey gets mad at Logan for hitting on her and causes him and Peter Parker to swap bodies by using her powers, which seems a little severe and kind of unfair to Peter. The two damage one another's bodies somewhat, but the end of this comic issue is what is truly terrifying. The swap ends with the horrifying implication that Wolverine tried to sleep with teenage MJ while in Peter's body. Ugh, that's really gross. Number 8. Batman, Hellboy, and Starman. Yeah, you're probably wondering what is going on with this one. This crossover happened in the late 90s and is a two-part short series that actually has a really awesome story, but was also kind of oddly done. It's a little spooky trade-off series revolving around Hellboy taking down a neo-Nazi group. In part 1, he works with Batman to save Ted Knight from the neo-Nazi group called Knights of October. But then in part 2, as Starman is joining the group once he's saved, Batman reveals that he has to dip to go deal with some Joker stuff back in Gotham. So then Batman leaves and sends Starman and Hellboy on a private jet to the Amazon rainforest, where they work to track down the leader of the villainous group who managed to escape in the original tussle of part 1. And the two then also have to take on a demon in typical Hellboy fashion. This spooky team-up is almost ruined by the weird, swap out of our heroes. Seems like Batman just wasn't feeling the part 2 of this crossover, or maybe just wasn't feeling working with Starman? Makes me wonder if he really did have business to attend to, or if he just wanted out of the team-up. Number 7. Punisher and Archie. Yes, this really happened. This team-up sounds like it was a terrible idea, but it actually sold fairly well, despite most people thinking it was a joke when it was announced. The Punisher is employed by the government to hunt and capture, not kill, Red, a drug dealer who looks similar to Archie. Red escapes the Punisher and attempts to lie low in Riverdale, where he uses his legitimate business connections to finagle his way into Hiram Lodge's mansion. The Punisher tracks Red down to Riverdale and thinks he spots him in an ice cream shop, but he's really spotting Archie and Jughead. However, Punisher's team isn't the only one tracking Red. Another group is also tracking him, one that is comprised of thugs who aim to kill Red before he can be caught and potentially snitch out the rest of the operation. They kidnap Archie and Jughead before Punisher can get to them. Meanwhile, Veronica takes Red on a date to the school dance in an attempt to make Archie jealous. Eventually things all work out and Punisher figures out who the real Red is, and even thinks Riverdale is pretty nice and that Archie is a pretty alright kid. He leaves with his bounty and a gift from Miss Grundy, I don't know, and later gets to resume his violent ways. And Archie goes back to his wholesome life. Well, sort of. Because now we have the show Riverdale, which definitely paints the town of Riverdale more in the vein of what Punisher originally expected. Number 6. Venom and Hulk. The Incredible Hulk vs. Venom is a bizarre but fantastic one-shot that imagines what would happen if these two terrifying heroes teamed up. While the time period it comes out of makes you question Venom's capacity for heroics, in this comic he is seen trying to heroically save people in the aftermath of an earthquake. During this he runs into the Hulk, who fights him thinking he's a villain. This version of the Hulk is also oddly well spoken. Eventually the two realize they are both after the same guy, Dr. Bad Vibes, who was claiming to be behind the earthquakes. They team up to take him down, but find out that the earthquake was a result of natural causes, and that Dr. Bad Vibes is just a crazy guy with an earthquake button who thinks that it works. The idea of these two coming after you is pretty terrifying. They almost don't decide to work together, but I'm glad they do, because this mashup is oddly delightful. Number 5. Sentry and the Dark Avengers. Okay, granted Sentry is a part of Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers, but he's probably the only member that you could, outside of the Dark Avengers, consider a hero when it comes to the assembly of this once villainous team. What's more scary than Sentry on a regular hero day? Sentry under the control of Norman Osborn. Sentry, when he joined the Dark Avengers, believed he was guilty for the death of his wife, and because of this, his moral compass is somewhat misaligned and off-kilter. He doesn't really see anything he's doing is wrong, and tries to be a hero during these dark times. However, as many heroic deeds as the Dark Avengers try to accomplish, the way they go about things is often what makes them scary, and is what sometimes makes them actually unable to accomplish the true heroics that the original team of Avengers often successfully completed. Number 4. Iron Man, Black Panther, and sort of Batman. This team up originally sounds awesome in principle, but it was part of a dreadful series called Marvel that was the result of a competition between Bill Jamaas, John Quesada, and Peter David as to who could sell more issues. This series was Bill Jamaas' entry. In issue 2, he puts these three heroes together who assemble to stop kids from handing out money. Obviously Batman isn't really there, as Bill Jamaas did not get DC's permission, but the character looks a lot like Batman and talks about his dead parents, so yeah. The victims in the comic, that is the bystanders accepting money that is being donated to them, berate the heroes for being rich and selfish. The heroes respond by violently beating them up and killing them. Iron Man even uses his repulsor beams to just straight up obliterate someone upon arriving at the scene. Goodness. If that isn't terrifying, I don't know what is. Number 3. Old Man Logan and Hawkeye. During the Old Man Logan storyline in the 2008 Wolverine series, we see Old Man, Hawkeye, and Logan team up. Logan is hired by now blind Hawkeye to help him make a delivery across the futuristic wasteland. Despite being blind, it seems like Hawkeye has developed a Raider-like sight, similar to Daredevil, making him still a crack shot and still able to even drive. Wow. The two come up against all sort of supervillains, including a T-Rex from the Savage Lands that is bonded with the Venom symbiote. Yet still, this deadly duo doesn't quite get everything right in the end. It turns out the delivery Hawkeye is aiming to make is 99 vials of super soldier serum in a now grossly unsuper world. He is supposed to be delivering the vials to someone who wants to create a new team of Avengers, but he gets double crossed and murdered in the process, and almost gets Logan killed too. Whoa. Number 2. EMINEM and Punisher. While I was actually kind of excited when I first heard about this team up, I was unfortunately let down by it. EMINEM is a huge superhero fan, in case you didn't know, so seeing him team up with the Punisher could be interesting and awe-inspiring. The standalone team-up series was originally slated to be a two-parter, but it ended up just being a one-issue, probably as a result of it being kind of a letdown. The duo are terrifying together and spend part of the comic beating up on one another, despite being on the same side. Punisher is there to protect Mathers from Barracuda, Eminem's old friend and apparently a contract killer who is trying to complete a hit on Mathers. The fight ends with them out on a frozen lake. Eminem gets away, manages to borrow a chainsaw from a fan who is ice fishing, and comes back to save Punisher, who is getting his butt kicked by Barracuda. The comic ends with Punisher turning on Eminem for trying to kill him, but he only shoots around him, putting him on like a floating iceberg and just tossing him a satellite phone, calling Marshall a criminal for killing Barracuda and trying to kill him, but then saying that they're even. What a weird one-shot. Number 1. Spawn and Batman. Oh my goodness, I wish there was more than one issue of this fantastically dark duo. These two heroes meet up in New York where Batman is tracking an arsenal of robots who are built to use human brains as their own, as well as a ton of weapons. He runs into Spawn and the two fight one another, suspicious of each other, almost eliminating the other hero in the process. Eventually though, they realize they're on the same side and team up to stop the robots. One thing I really love about this team up is the way Batman is drawn. Todd McFarlane draws the iconic Spawn style artistry in the issue, and Frank Miller is behind the writing helm for this one. It truly is a dark, gritty, gruesome little one-shot. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. I hope you enjoyed this list. There are so many amazing and terrible team-ups out there. Some that should have never happened, and some that should have never stopped happening, and some that just don't work, no matter how awesome they are. What is your favorite scary superhero team up? Or just team up in general? Are there any on this list that you wish had been longer or that had just never happened? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're on your way down there, remember to tap that like, smash that sub, and ring our bell so you continue to get our nerdy notifications. This is Top 10 Nerd and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, reminding you to stay nerdy, YouTube.